The topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Are you ready to take a journey? Let's connect with the healers of the world. It's that time. It's time for the Language of Healing on W4WN Radio and Talk 4 TV. Now here's your host, Dr. Nicole Fortin.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Language of Healing. And today's conversation invites us into a journey where science meets spirit, and where fixing the body is actually more about remembering who you are. And we have a very special guest today, MaryFrances Barbisan, and she is a registered nurse, a sacred medicine guide, a life and sex coach, and a wonderful human being. And so let's just invite her on, because I'm very happy to have her here with us. And hello.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I love this idea of, how healing isn't such about fixing or being broken and patching things up. It's more about remembering who we are. I can really relate to that in my work. And so, I'm curious to know, because you have, quite a scientific medical background with the nursing. And when did you realize that there was more to that, and how the sacred and the science intersects for more of a complete holistic life?
Brilliant question, because I've had many injuries. And when I counted up the number of times I was hit in a car from the front, I had 9 head-on car crashes. And they were little, lots of them were little, but when I counted, there was 9, and I'm like, wow, those are my 9 lives. There was one big accident, and I think there was, some energy above, whether it was God or universe, just literally dropping a rock on my head to say, stop. And it was the biggest head-on car crash. And I'm not healing, and the doctors say, take these pills. And I'm like, I don't have an antidepressant deficiency. I don't. So I don't understand why getting hit in the head makes you think I take these pills and you write me off for life. And I basically said, back up the bus here. I got to figure this out. And so in my recovery, I ended up learning things along the way. And I started learning those things because it was so powerfully changing for me. And it was literally that knock. And I realized in that, the biggest of those accidents, it was time. I was a passenger every single time. So the message is so profound. I needed to get in the driver's seat and behind the wheel of my own life. And that's what started this place of almost going backwards in time, this concept of like remembering. I needed to be stopped. And sometimes with my nursing in over 4 decades, diseases and conditions and the accidents and the injuries are here to stop us, to make us reflect and go, okay, where am I now? And what have I created? What kind of chaos is disrupting me from my path and my God-given purpose in life?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's such a power in the pause, and sometimes and that's another question I kind of want to ask you is in your experience, what do you think that the body, or what do you notice that the body might be telling us that we rarely listen to? Because that's when you get hit hard, is when there's always these little threads. And then, it takes that big collision.
I felt like the little ones were like little pebbles until there was a great plan for my life, and I wasn't getting it. And I think I know we all have a divine plan for our life, and different things are putting in the river, the riverbed, so we can actually flow in the direction of our meaning. So it's divine beauty to be able to recognize the lessons in I'll say the complete, I'm not going to say destruction. I'm going to say unraveling. The unraveling of the story that I thought I wasn't really me. It was the story of me being me according to the rules and regulations of my era, my generation, my family, my culture, my education. And then it's like, well, then who's the me who's experienced all of this? And it was like this peeling back of the layers, like banana peel. And it's like, now what? And what a divine gift that is. And then in nursing, I was gifted also with the opportunity to work in a holistic clinic, where I saw that some more holistic styles were allowing people on a gentle path forward so that they can be proactive in their care versus being told, you got to this and you got to do that and you got to take this pill and have a nice life. It directed my thoughts and my awareness and my learning into this self-responsibility and the steps of progression to actually find my way out of the darkness of the untruth of who I was being at the time.
Yes,
And there was one,
do. Go ahead.
I was going to say there was one curiosity that lingered for years and years that has really come to the forefront right now, and that was with working with psychedelic medicine. Because I had a brain injury. I've got a magical brain, a creative mind, and a massive head injury and untold concussions that are not, they're not being healed. There is no healing. Rest, take a pill,
Yeah.
have a nice
Yeah.
life. Here's your disability pay. And so when I started to look into body healing, cranial sacral work, auditory work, breath work, there was this little piece in my own brain in my journey that there's like something else like I'm not unlocking, and I'm doing the work and I'm doing the spiritual growth, the personal growth. And it led me down another path of looking at plant medicine as sacred medicine. So there's this massive unfolding of possibilities for us when we take the science of what's going on, respect that, and look at the soulful journey and combine it. And then like, who's the me in this place? And guiding people down that path of being the me that's me to figure it out and using these different tools to support that unfolding.
Yes, I love that. I mean, because plants are of nature. It's like, the beautiful Fibonacci sequence, or the tree of life, or whatever. It's like a natural perfection that happens, like chaos but ordered, and science and like that medical industry really loves to make it like fit in a box. It's like repeatable, like evidence-based and chartable and explainable, and
Yet not explainable.
I love that. There's like the OCD part of, or like a part of me that's like, oh, I like the spreadsheet, I like things to make sense, but there's also this undeniable part of it or aspect of it that is a mystery, and it does carry some sacredness. And I've experienced that, like miracles. I've seen some miracles, I'm sure you have as well, that things are just like unexplainable. And so do you find that like maybe science is catching up to some of these ancient traditions, 100%. like with the 100%. Psychedelics? Because now they're seeing, and I've read some books even on, a theory that our brain is the size that we are because of these experiences, or like, some of our ancestors way down the line that were using them and, expanding the consciousness, or,
I think of like
things
like little spark plugs. So people know in their cars, you got to like change spark plugs. And so we can kind of get plugged up, or the electricity of our beingness, because our aliveness is electrical, is being, I'll say, numbed down by life, chemicals, pollution, traumatic events. And so somehow there's a way to start sparking. And inside the brain, there's a term now called neuroplasticity, where the brain is changeable. We're not stuck with what we thought. There's so much, I almost feel like sparklers on birthday cakes, meaning a waking up to potential, to creativity, to witnessing the beauty of life. Like I'm looking out the window right now and I see a blue ocean. And the plants and the flowers, and it's like twinkling beauty is the essence of healing. That's never talked about, because we are way more than a body that needs a chemical because someone said, take this pill for that condition. So I invite the soul of a person to fall back home into who they originally are designed to be before everything got in the way. And then from that place, making steps, using nutritional tools, body work tools, coming home into breath, and also using the psychedelics as a way, we'll go back to the spark plugs, change those plugs out, to ignite this different way of being that allows the functioning of the brain the way it was designed to be. Before, we fell down the stairs or had a car accident or was polluted in a chemical environment, like all of those things that affect us. And I think of a beautiful car. It needs the best fuel. It needs to be parked in a garage, nice and rest at night. It needs to be washed and shined, and it needs to be fueled from the inside out. And we take more care for the vehicles than we do of our body. And so to recognize we're more than the structure of the vehicle, that there's an innate, I'll say magic, and an innate life force energy that animates us. And that's the piece that in all my nursing experience has gone missing. People come into my studio all the time. I want my intravenous vitamins. Absolutely, as a tool to get your cells up and oomphed to get going again.
Yeah.
But it's not the be all and end all. The rest of the journey is falling back home into the self, the body, and looking at what is screaming from my body right now. What is my face telling you about me? My eyes, or the way we're built is telling a story. And to use that information as part of the healing journey. And I think healing is big. We don't need a big accident or a medical diagnosis to be healing. Healing is a waking up. And it's so much fun. When you're with a guide, when you're with somebody that can show you a possibility and say, come this way, I'll walk beside you. And that's the part of finding the medical expert that also has the intuitive pieces and so many tools in a toolbox to say, let's look and plan. What is your soul's place? What is it longing for? And gently provide that roadway, that pathway. I call it the yellow brick road. And at the end,
Yeah, I love it.
what was
Paved
the
in gold.
wizard? What was at the end? The wizard, and who's the wizard? It's ourself.
Yes.
The prime,
Yeah.
Great.
And there's like the man behind the curtain,
the veil,
like
the wizard. And
yeah. So we, and then we just think about all the masks and fronts that we put up to try to, guard and gatekeep like certain things to
all
really
the parts.
protect us from that core. So
And so
yeah, because like the body has an intelligence, but the wisdom of the soul speaks. Well,
and there's
quieter,
the wizard of the soul.
but is
at the end of the yellow brick road. So we need to get on that yellow brick road. So where my
Yeah.
mastery is inviting you onto that proverbial yellow brick road to take you down the path with the support and the guidance and the tools and the experiences to actually meet, the own inner, the wizard, the divine light of who you are. And when I started exploring with the psychedelics and in my own concussioned head, I was able to start reigniting those little spark plugs and messages. And it was understanding my whole soul journey in a way that I could never have imagined in 20 years of psychotherapy, laying on the couch, telling the story of my life. This actually brought me, boom, in a split second to a moment with ease, with gentleness. The amygdala in our brain, which is holding all those protectors and gatekeepers, gently makes space for us to have a look and feel and receive the magic of who we are in a very safe and medical and mystical environment. And it's changing lives.
Oh yeah,
It changed
absolutely.
mine.
I mean, it's like, I know that I don't know the exact things, but this seems to be have been something that they were researching in the 70s and experimenting with, and then it just got like hard X. But now, I mean, it's like kind of covered by our medical system right now, like but there's like a lot of paperwork and a lot of trauma. There's like a lot of parameters around it. But like you said, I think that you don't necessarily need some hard event or accident to shift your life. These things can be used for.
I had a beautiful client in here just yesterday, and she came through, a friend of a friend. I'm pretty much referral these days. And she sat down and she said, there's something in me that she's mid-50s. There's something, I want to fall back into this feminine place. I have been in the go get her done drive my life. My husband was ill. I cared for him, and I've been holding space, and he's passed, and it's my time. Show me what's next, how to get to that next page. So she was already knowing. There wasn't anything wrong with her. She was just knowing something more was being called forth. And we did a beautiful little journey and some healing body work and created a ceremony to really honor this transition. And so many men and women are in these moments, but they've never had anyone say, how can I help you in this transition to move a new page or a new chapter of life? And using it as a tool when we're well, but knowing there's more.
Yeah. So how does this medicine help people reconnect into their inner wisdom or their...
Well, first of all, the brain is this sacred highway and byway of communication. And so it's allowing us to see at a soul level, because we are stuck in the doingness, and it's allowing this sort of channel to come into the beingness. So we're all experts at doing something. We're doing our job, doing our roles in life. And so
we live by structure, schedule.
It's a doing.
Yeah.
We're the machine. We're doing. And then it's this moment of allowing everything to soften inside. I'll say soften, it's not quite the right word, but to shift in a way that you have an inner vision inside to tap in to who you are. And maybe a person still needs to be on certain medications, but now they're going to have a different wisdom of what was actually the trigger that started that whole piece in the first place. And it allows a very, very gentle place to connect from the heart. Many sacred medicines bring you right into the heart medicine, right into the heart. And from the heart, for ourselves and for our others, to have knocked down all the BS, I'll call it, of our rules and regulations of how we can be and all the fears we have about being seen. And it allows a gentle unfolding. And with our own ability just to have an inner look and an inner capacity for the messages to support that, we're facilitating change a little bit at a time in a safe medical professional environment with a history, with an integration afterwards. It is life-changing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm always fascinated by the body, and it's like an endless mystery, but we have this brain, and it's well studied and well documented, and we have all these sparks that are happening there, but the heart is actually a bigger field than the brain. And then we also have our gut brain, and I think it's about all three of those components. And to be honest, I noticed that too in all the studies and, travel and like everything I've done to try to find that missing link almost, because the answer is not in one place. It's in many places. And when we refine and condense it into like a textbook, this is the way it is. Like I find that that's hardly ever the case, So
it's
to
never
bring in the piece of the heart, never the case.
It really isn't. And I saw that in nursing. It's like, okay, here's the infection, and take the pill. And I was an intravenous specialist, so I would do the intravenous, dripping the drug to fix the thing that was the thing, and off you go. And there was never a connection. Who is the person experiencing that? Who is the beingness that's that? And there's this magic that's gone missing. So I love to blend the two worlds for this more complete expression of who a person can be. On a soul level, it is missing. And even clients that come in and see me, they're still resisting. Oh, no, I got to take the pill. I got to get another lab test first. And I'm like, okay, and we can. And we're going to invite the body back into breath. We're going to do some gentle body work, body awareness, potentially add in some sacred medicine to that, and create literally a journey of awakening that's so soft and so heart-centered. And there's a beautiful piece when couples work with this. Couples are struggling, all over the place. And there's a beautiful way to facilitate a connection there where the gatekeepers come down and all the unsaid things that have built up, and it could be within a business partner, and it also could be within family systems. It's like, if we could just take that back down, and then two people are in that same place and facilitating true communication. This is how I believe we're going to change the world.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful. I think that would be make a big difference.
There's no words now at this point. I want, if I could, just back up to your statement about back in the 70s when this whole industry was just shut down. It was in the States, United States, and the president at the time had run a campaign saying, this is your brain on drugs. And it was a fry pan with an egg. But what they weren't doing is looking at the medicinal effects of drugs. And sure, there's many horrible, addictive, we see that around the world, hardcore drugs. This is not what this is. So when that messaging came out in the 70s, like literally half a century ago or more, we have been halted in the science. So we're now getting the science back on board to support what was always known. And it's been documented for hundreds, even thousands of years. When we look at ancient hieroglyphs and what's in there in plant medicine and sacred ceremony and honoring and using the one in your community is the medicine person or the healer person as the one that literally cradles and accelerates the journey. And so what happened is that whole lid popped off. Science is back on board. I mean, I could tag you with a list of science reports and investigations and beautiful results that are happening around the world where it's becoming more and more available in a healing tool. And again, we don't have to have a manic psychiatric diagnosis or addiction to go this route. It's simply, how can I be more? And there's all levels of working in the medicine. And I will say for myself, as a woman, I do not necessarily want to go into the jungle because there's bugs and snakes and do an official ceremony in a jungle with a shaman. And that's beautiful for those that choose that. But there's a whole world of us, myself, and a lot of my clients that don't want that. They want something a little bit more modern, a little bit safer, a little bit more culturally aligned with their own goals, and maybe just a softer touch. So there's so many extremes from macro to micro medicines and everything in between that's designed when you're working with someone who's going to ask the questions about who you are and where you see your unfolding and creating that yellow brick road.
Yes. Yeah, because that potential is there. And I think that like this is a big thing of, the subpar health. It's like, yeah, I'm kind of okay for the most part, but there's just something that feels like not connected or not as aligned as I would like to be. And, I think.
And so there's those that say, I'm fine. My life is fine.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm happy for you. And then there's others that go, I am more. I want more. I need more.
What's more?
How can I connect more profoundly with my sweetheart, my partner, or my child, or my clients or my associates? Like just knowing, I always feel like there's like this invisible saran wrap. When you stretch it across a bowl?
Yeah.
And you can ping, coins off of it. Think of Christmas dinner and the mashed potatoes, and you've got the saran wrap over the bowl, and it's perfect. And so that lives in our system. It's like we've got saran wrap in our bodies, and we're pulled tight. Everything looks good until the moment someone says, I want more. I want to claim more for my life. I want to love deeper. I want to know myself. I want to connect more fully. And I think more and more folks are starting to realize it's okay to actually search that out and ask for themselves. A lot of, I'll say in my era, we don't ask. We just go and do. And we don't ask what else is possible. So the key thing is, what questions can we ask ourselves? What else is possible for me? What is it that I can't see about my life that if I could see it would unlock and change things in a beneficial way? So asking these questions and gearing the journey, whether it's with body work, nutritional health, breath work, or the sacred or I think all of it, the medicine, we're able to start unlocking little bits and claiming more. I didn't grow up in a culture that said, claim more, MaryFrances, go for the more. Yeah. It's play small, be quiet, don't rock the boat, don't be too weird. And I'm
like, that's too late.
Okay. I was born weird, and I love every weird person that I see. It's like, God bless you. Thank goodness you're unique. And the world needs uniqueness of expression. And the other thing is communication. So when we start to bring down some of those barriers, especially, we can actually do masterminds when we're working together with a very gentle medicine and barriers come down. Intuition is absolutely magnetic and serving and supporting each other as a community, coming together in an exalted, accelerated way, where normally we've been cultured maybe not to say anything, or not to, to be nice, and then losing that soul essence of ourself.
Right. That expression. Okay. I want to know two things. We've
Sure.
kind of talked about this like as we've been going,
Yes.
but I want to know what the journey or the ceremony, like practically, like what does that look like? What does it entail? What's part of that? How long, all that stuff. And then also the difference between the ceremonial use and the recreational use, because this is where maybe people have that, like that block
Stigma.
is
Yeah.
like, is
Absolutely,
bad.
100%.
Fries your brain bad.
So those are different things. Those are different products. We'll call them products.
Okay.
Okay, so we're looking at, clear lab tested appropriate things. Or for example, I have been in fields and picked things that I know are pure. So we have pureness of product, we have pureness of intention. Because if it's party time, then go party time. But for those that are having an intention of, I want to go deeper, I want to unlock some things that are in me, it's the intention that separates the difference. The intention, the medicine, the preparation, the sacredness of the journey, and the integration could be like, what could you say, coaching, but sacred coaching, in unfolding what was revealed and finding a journey through that. That is the sacred ceremony. Recreational is let's party. There's not necessarily an end result except some kind of joy or pleasure or whatever. Mm-hmm. And in some other products, it's total addiction, and it's a whole other, nothing to do with the medicine, the sacred medicine. So what does it entail? It depends what you want to do. I work a lot with microdosing, just tiny little doses where it might be a couple times a week, again, monitoring with the person on different products. Just enough so that there's a little changes in the ability for the mind to manage, to soften, to open, to understand more fully. So that's a microdose. And that's done with different, like I said, that would be done consulting together. What is the best for me? Or rather for you. Then there could be what we call a hug dose, which is a little bit more. I do a beautiful full moon event where we bring our intentions forward in a very, very small group, just 2 or 3 or 4. And we bring our hearts together under a full moon, our intentions, and take a little bit more than a microdose. So there's a beautiful rise and then gentle fall of an awareness. It's like going into the deepest meditation that you didn't even know you knew how to meditate. And it'll take you to that place. And you surrender and you receive. And what happens when you're ready and what you're asking for. Then the third place would be a very different kind of journey. It would be numerous hours, totally one-on-one with a guide. And again, preparation and integration is everything. And safety. And being the nurse that I am, safety is everything. Like if you're not okay, or your blood pressure is too high, or your medications I'm not sure of, I check with my consultants and my doctors, and we make sure that there's a safe environment for whatever route we discover together is the best one for you. And for many, it's a culmination, and it's an accumulation of readiness to the point where I'd like a bigger journey, one-on-one, held in space, where you basically receive the medicine. So you're receiving it, not taking it. Okay, it's a difference. So it's and your intentions are heard. There's some journaling. There's a lot of scent. We're working with scent now in, again, the brain.
Oh, yeah, cool.
The brain, yeah. So I'm working right now with aromatherapy with some medicines to, again, imprint into the brain the new changes. And so in that time together, whether it's 4 hours or 5 hours together, it's an unfolding, it's guided, you're protected, and you're allowing. And for myself personally, it gave me insights that I have been searching for decades to know about me. Like, God, tell me, who am I? What am I doing here? Like, I need to know with all of my heart, asking and being able to receive and accept. And that surrender is part of the journey, because some can't. And that awareness in itself is profound information.
What do you mean? Some can't surrender or
Yeah.
receive?
Well, I know I want something, but I truly can't breathe in. I can't surrender. I can't let go. I'm too afraid to go there. And a lot of that is the protector parts in our brains. So we work a lot with like the parts. The part of me that's protecting so tightly that I can't receive is a piece of awareness. That's perfect to go, okay, protector part. It's okay.
Good job out there. Thank you.
You've
for
done
your
a
service.
great job. Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
And I'm in good hands right now. And I'm going to continue this journey. And you can walk with me, protector part. But allow me a greater wisdom to understand the biology of my beliefs, what is going on in my physical body. And so we work a lot very deeply in full awareness of all that we are. And it's for those that claim more. I claim more. Give me more.
Yeah. I was just thinking, like, what is the difference? What would be the difference for somebody in their life? I mean, because we can just go about like, oh, I'm just gonna, it's the doingness. I'm gonna do this and get in there. And I think this is for someone who wants more. Like, what more is possible for my life?
So I have worked often with women who are older. We're myself and older.
Yeah, it's like a next chapter, because we're not just done after a certain age,
It's the golden years, and I've had women that are they're finished with the kids. Some of them are now. I've also finished, helping with the grandkids. I've got 20 or 30 years left. I want more. I want to know myself more. My duties are done. My career, I'm retired. What am I doing? Who am I? So whether you're walking dogs or babysitting grandchildren or continuing a business, it doesn't matter. It's how you're being in those activities that makes the shift. For me, it was this absolute certainty of what I'm here to do on this earth, and the absolute forgiveness of all the parts of me that I thought were wrong, bad, not enough, and unworthy. I was able to claim an awareness that was a lie, and knowing with certainty, whatever comes next, this is who I am. And it's a profound and powerful place to be. It's more fun. It's more alive. It's like, here's a great example, because I was taught piano. When I was a kid, I told my parents, I need to work with my hands. So eventually I did become a body worker and a massage therapist. But as a kid, they don't know what to do with you back in the whatever decades those were. They bought me a piano. So here's the example. We can play all 88 keys, all the octaves, boom, boom, and make, orchestrated music, or just how we have the full range. Or we could live life in middle C. Rush hour traffic, go home at the same time every day. And that's fine for those that it's fine for, until you want to range and go, oh, well, what if I am not in middle C and I can go up an octave or down an octave, or go and do allegro and do lento, and all of the expressions. All of a sudden there's a music inside the soul that wants to come through. So in a healing journey, as a medical nurse of decades, I can see the mainstream and guide people to embody a fuller expression of the octaves of life, where we're designed for that. And we have been domesticated, many of us, into living a smaller range of possibility. And that's my
I remember some, it's a powerful message. I love that metaphor, or like just comparison. But what is it, like Beethoven's music that hits all octaves or something? Like there are some classical artists that they create sounds that we're not used to, but when we're born, we have the potential to take in all of those octaves of life. Like we could learn any language, we could be, somewhat programmed or guided towards like all limitless possibilities. But we decide then to narrow our scope and, start on a journey. And it's like we forget. We forget that there is all of those other keys in the universe, or the life, like the music of our soul. And that's cool, little like roundabout way of like, it's actually more about remembering than fixing something that's broken or patching something up. Like, here's your medication, just keep taking that. But you're going to have to take all that for the rest of your life, because now your body's going to forget how to do it naturally, when we could have just maybe like paused, taken a step back, and remembered, that we actually have the ability to hold that space, or
who
reinvigorate.
And who is the original me before the world put all of their implants into me of how to be a woman of the 50s or 60s or 70s, and decades later, like, we were told, even educated, to be a certain way. And so what I claim is everybody is outside the box that wants a certain level of living, or outside of middle C. And so I create experiences that are all the octaves and definitely outside of the box. And I think this is for those that want to claim a life that's more, but it's actually it's actually who you always were in the first place, before everything else came through. Imagine like clouds coming by, and all these clouds are layering up, but you just want to have like a direct line up to the sun, right? And so the cloud cover is there to teach us things, and maybe some storms, and we can rest in that cloud cover. But when we start to use sacred medicine to have a more direct line, I'll say, and there's less cloud cover, then there's so much more possibility. And like, who wouldn't want more vitality? Who wouldn't want more love and connection? And when sort of these protector parts are coming down offline, what level of communication are we now safely able to explore? There isn't a person I talk to that doesn't have some kind of out in reality with a friend, with a family member, with their spouse, and held back expressions. So if everybody can find a soft landing to go back to that authentic place of what's true for them, and find the way to get that across, is a beautiful, this is peace. World peace is real.
I love how you put that as the soft landing, because when we do enter a realm that is a bit unknown, it can be a bit harsh, like having an experienced pilot that takes us down, it's like a seamless landing, soft landing. You feel like taken care of and confident that whoever's guiding this ship.
Precisely.
Yeah, so that's
I should make that my tagline.
nice.
I'm going to take you on a soft landing. So we want to blow up our lives. So I've blown up my lives lots of times, and
of course, and
all these things. But to come into a soft landing is because I know who I am, and that is the gift of my many years of living and studying and being completely myself, which is endlessly curious, and taking that as my offering to the world, and to sort of walk with those that want to as well. And the soft landing is, you don't have to blow up your life and be afraid of what you might remember. I'm going to remember bad things, so I can't go there.
Right.
And that's a trauma response. But when we start to find gentle ways in the brain of working with that, and then with the heart, and it's being held in sacred space, we can come to terms with that without having to relive, gunk. We just come to a different term when you're working with a guide, an expert that's a guide in this journey. And that's the piece. This is not recreational, go figure it out yourself. This is reaching out for the most exquisite journey of your life.
Yeah.
And you don't have to fall off a cliff. I mean, I didn't have to go bang in a big car crash. Do you know all my fillings fell out? That's how bad my brain rattled. Wow. And the dentist said, "Oh, that was just a coincidence." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, for sure. I just got hit at 110, head on at 100. Yeah. I walked away, and I got something big to do in this life. That was no coincidence." And so sort of the olds had to leave, right? That's where the old feelings from childhood actually physically.
Wow, crazy.
Like, there's just crazy stuff when you actually start peeling back the story about what actually happened. I'm like, what energy was stuck in there from being a kid terrorizing the dentist office, 50 or 60 years ago?
Yeah.
And it got to go. And I'm like, interesting. But people have their judgments because it's so safe to say, oh, it's a coincidence, or it just happened. And I'd work with clients when I was in the community as the IV nurse, and I'd go into their home to give them the intravenous drug of antibiotic. And I would say, tell me what happened. And so I became the accumulator of stories, sacred stories. And they would say, it happened. And I thought, what is this it? It happened. I don't know. It happened. So cancer or diabetes or whatever the condition is, walk down the street, turn left, missed your neighbor, missed your spouse, but hit you. It got me. And so it became this fascinating journey of self-exploration. What's the it that gets people? Or what made it, the condition, find that body and not that body? So we're creating this field of frequency that will attract or repel the life that we're in. So let's really be in a place of empowerment and letting go from soft places and softly land without blowing everything up, which some people think is the awakening, and it can be very gentle and so sweetly profound.
Yeah. Well, I think when you work with the energies, or like, you know, Chinese medicine, or is based a lot on, you know, a Taoist principle that, well, the Tao means the way. It's like living in accordance with the natural way of life. You know, when we're constantly opposite of what's coming to what we should be receiving, that's when we get blocks, or, you know, or difficulties transitioning, because we're kind of stuck in that old realm. So naturally, we always want to be evolving and growing, because we're not just, you know, this set structure. We are evolving. Even, you know, we see the evolution of humanity over time, the evolution of our brain, the evolution, you know, of all these things. So I like that brings it into a more safe, soft place for people. That's like, it's like more digestible, you know.
Yeah, good one.
So yeah. So you take. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was just going to say, it's just dropping in my head now. The Latin and like languages, Italian and Spanish and Latin, the word for courage is the base as cuore, corazon, or the heart.
Oh.
So courage is the root of the word courage. Cuore is of the heart, which is soft. If we have courage from the heart, we don't need to have our shield up and our knife out and our guns loaded in life.
Yes.
Sometimes just across the street or get through traffic. So when we're coming from courage, we're coming from the heart, and it's expansive and it's enveloping. And there's a crazy world out there, and we're in a time of such massive change. And to stay home in the heart, have the courage to reach out for support, information, guidance, and to take potentially a journey. Coming from courage is my key word lately. It's such a powerful word.
Yeah, I can relate, because people, you know, I've traveled many places of the world by myself, you know.
Yeah.
And some people are like, oh my gosh, like I could never do that or something. But or, you know, they might ask me, are you afraid or something? And I always said, no, if it didn't come to me as a desire, I wouldn't move on it. But because it's such a pure, like, it's like a purpose almost. And you're like, no worries. Like, this will definitely take care of itself, because it's like heart center. It's like that natural courage. I don't have to, you know, have all that extra protection. Exactly. I mean, you got to have awareness, sure.
Oh, awareness. You can't be stupid. You have your eyes open. But when you've come to a place of awakening, your senses are expansive. So we literally have, you know, the eyes like a deer, like that look. So when you say deer, it's literally the animal, the deer, has the eyes to the side, right? So it can see. And so we have this capacity to be deer, to have a greater awareness. So I always would say to people when I traveled, well, I'm not, you know, wearing my Easter bonnet in a war zone, people. Like, there's an awareness. But coming and knowing myself, and from courage of the heart, that is it's palpable around individuals who are awakening to that. And it's actually kind of a repellent, because I'll say the bad guys or the robbers or the pickpockets, they want an easy in. And if someone's all afraid, they're an easy in, like they're full of energy holes in a way. When we've got this beautiful globe, I like to call that the light globe. We've used that term before, of just this way of shining our light awake and aware with a globe, so that we're protected. And we're not sitting ducks of, you know, foolishness. We're actually soulfully powerful. And there's a world to explore. And there's a lot of love to know and experience and offer with courage. No matter what we've been through and how much heartache we've had. There's so much my own heartache. My own
I know.
broken heartache. If I want to live this life with my broken heart, how is that going to resonate and attract in the true love that I want to be and feel? And again, it's love traditionally. It could be love as a dog walker, like whatever that is in the world, we can start to let go of the grid and the gatekeepers of some traumas so that we find the courage, so that we find the surrender.
And there's so much peace to that. I feel peaceful when you're speaking about that, because it's not like oh, what's next? Oh, I got to do this, got to do that. It's like strength, like within our soul, spirit. And
you find that people are opening doors, like figuratively and and literally. Doors are opening for those that are awakening to a deeper possibility. And there's so many avenues to get there. So I like to invite people to just say, I don't know where to start, or I'm on a path, and guide me and have a discussion. And that is about the most courageous thing a person could do.
Yeah, I love it when someone comes to see me and is like, I don't know what I need. It's like, ooh, fun. Like, let's explore. And there's there's some people that would just be like, okay, well, come see me when you have something wrong. Come see me when you know what you want. It's like, no, but this is the time that it's like completely open to exploring and cultivating something deeper that you might not have even known about. So yeah, when you're working with people, so you're, you can be anywhere. You do virtual, you also host retreats. Let's talk about that real quick, because we'll plug for the people who want to reach out and connect to you, because we have to wrap up soon, unfortunately. So
retreats, I choose Mexico because a lot of my clients are in the western part of the world, Canada and the US. It's such an easy direct flight down to the Pacific side of Mexico. And being beachfront and just honoring the cycles. The waves are a cycle and they're affected by the moon. And so we can feel the rhythm of life. We can feel the sunset every day. And so I've been doing that for about a dozen years. And it was just inspired out of the fact that I need to change my life about a dozen years ago. I broke up, I had a crappy time in this life. And I'm like, I need more. I'm going to change my life. And what could I do interesting? I need to do retreats. And I started offering a place for women to fall home into their hearts. And so that is an ongoing thing. I also create little mini retreats called Luminescence, where someone can work with me for a couple days in Mexico and work on a smaller little level versus a larger level. So there's lots of ways to work in the retreats. So there's Exquisitely You, the journey home to you. There's Luminescence is coming out from the heart and with courage. And those are the retreats that I'm currently offering, but I do so much virtually around the world with this whole conversation. And I'm just going to say that what I call my full moon event is called the invitation, because we are inviting our sacred inner healer. We are inviting the wise woman or man to come home, to come out. So we're inviting the medicine to work with us and inviting our own inner healer to be present with us. So I will offer the invitation to invite your own inner wise person, your own inner healer that wants more, to reach out. I'm happy to chat. I'm always available for that, and get curious together about what's possible. And what other questions? Yeah, what other questions can we ask? Yes. MaryFrances with an E.ca.
Yes. Yeah, we can spell it out for our listeners. If you're watching, you can see it on the screen, or just MaryFrances.ca, MaryFrances.
Yes.
.ca, because we are Canadian, El Canadianas.
Yes.
Is that how you would say that in Spanish? I
don't know. I'm still working on my multilingual brain. Oh, that's another thing about working with the brain and what's I've had little compartments, like little, I'll say boxes in my brain, and they kind of shut down a little bit. And so I'm like popping open little boxes where there's a greater conversation, and I'm actually learning faster than I've ever learned before, particularly with language, and retaining more information as these possibilities are literally shifting in the neuroplasticity of my brain. And that's
it's like the keys of the piano. Now you have all the keys.
Yay!
You can form connections, learn new, easy.
And the harmonies
gosh.
of life, literally, without getting into a science class right now, this is what's possible. And this is the invitation for our audience today.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us today on the language of healing. And I believe that this conversation, really resonates with that. Yes, because healing is a journey, and it is about remembering who you are, what you're here to do, and having fun along the way. And you carry such a vibrancy about you. That's just something I've always really appreciated about you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
The youthful vitality that you bring forth and help others experience is a true gift to this world. So I encourage anyone to reach out to you and go to Mexico, have a retreat. It's a wonderful experience, and keep asking those questions that matter, that will make a difference. So
what is possible?
What else is possible?
Yeah.
Okay. So MaryFrances.ca, and tune in next week on the Language of Healing every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And we'll see you then. Okay. Have a great week. Bye.
Wow, what a show today. And the journey does not stop here. Come travel the world with Nicole every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time as together we become more fluent in the language of healing on W4WN Radio and Talk4 TV. See you next week.